Good evening and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name's FBL Phillips or Eddie, and today I'm bringing you our daily price change video where we look at all the latest player rises and falls coming up to help you improve your team value. So I'll be joining FPL Nacho and FPL Raptor, who you'll have seen making the last few videos if you've been keeping up to date with the series, where we're coming to you every evening from 8:30 British time. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it and help you price change your way to a top 10k. Now, there's not been too much going on in the transfer world today, but most notably, Antonio looks set to rise in price, which Ross covered mainly yesterday. There have now been over 212,000 transfers in for the West Ham talisman, and his progress is at 111.8%, which is rising at 1.4% per hour, so over that 100% threshold that we need to reach to predict a price change. So if you're looking to hop on the Antonio bandwagon and you haven't done so already, it's worth noting that he faces Crystal Palace and Southampton in his next two fixtures after Leicester City in Game Week 2. Two very, very nice fixtures. Off the back of a 3-0 victory against Newcastle as well, who have the second highest expected goals against in the league, and Antonio managed to bag himself a fantastic 13-point haul. So moving a bit more onto current news, Kai Havertz only featured for 8 minutes in Chelsea's impressive 3-0 victory at home to Crystal Palace. You can see the German's touch map to the left of me, but as you can see, it's a very small sample size to go on, as he only featured for those 8 minutes and scored himself a measly 1 point. It's key to identify with Kai Havertz that what was so tempting about him to a lot of FPL managers was the fact that he was potentially playing out of position at that number 9 role in the Tuchel side. However, we now know that Romelu Lukaku will be joining the Blues, and he looks set to be available for the next game for Chelsea and take over that number 9 role. Even if he doesn't start, for long-term reasons, it's a poor choice to go with Kai Havertz. The end result does not look too good for Havertz, with the German having to drop back and face rotation alongside Mason Mount and Timo Werner. For a spot, it could mean limited minutes as well to try and fight his way into that front three line alongside their new big money striker. So Havertz is over that 100% threshold at 104.9% progress towards a price drop, with a progress per hour of 0.9%. Over 147,000 managers at this point have chosen to move on the Chelsea man, with a very popular switch with almost 40% of the transfers out being for the Frenchman Paul Pogba of Man United, who himself rose to 7.6 million only a few nights ago. So here at Fix, we're predicting that Kai Havertz will drop tonight, so if you're planning to take him out and you've only got a specific amount of cash for the move, you haven't got any extra in the bank, now is the time to do it. Chelsea faced Arsenal, Liverpool and Spurs all away from home in 3 of their next 4 fixtures, and Kai Havertz is only projected to score a measly 8.3 points over those entire 4 game weeks. Remember, price changes aren't exact science and the data is always changing, but you can use the free Fantasy Football Fix app or the website to keep track right till the very last minute, beat those price rises and drops, and beat the majority of players to improving your FPL team value. Now, there's not too much positive news if you count it as positive when players are rising in terms of FPL price changes today, and there are actually quite a few more drops that we need to note. Minamino is one of such players expected to drop tonight, with the Japanese international not bagging any minutes in Liverpool's opening game against Norwich. Of course, with a loan move away to the likes of Southampton like we saw last season, Minamino could become a potential nice FPL option. However, reports most recently are stating that Liverpool are reluctant to let go of the 26-year-old winger. This makes him really only a cup player in Jurgen Klopp's side, and about as much use as an inflatable dartboard when it comes to being a potential FPL asset. At 5.5, you may be able to stretch to a 6 million midfielder and pick up one of the likes of Ismaila Sarr, Adama Traore, or indeed Said Benrahma, who all looks like fantastic options. The latter of which could be expected to rise tomorrow himself, with the Algerian breathing down Antonio's neck in terms of getting all those price rises. But even if you don't have 0.5 in the bank or any money to spend, you can even go for Mbeumo of Brentford, who looks to be playing out of position this season and has Crystal Palace up next, if for some reason you own Minamino. Regarding Minamino, reports have also stated that Liverpool aren't keen to send the Japanese international on loan, which makes him really only a cup player in terms of Jurgen Klopp's side. But there is another player set to drop tonight who, like Minamino, didn't feature for his club on the opening day of the season when they had a tremendous win. But unlike Minamino, this is a man who could actually potentially be a very nice FPL asset at some point in the season. Edinson Cavani himself passed the progress mark at minus 102.6% towards a price drop for the Uruguayan. It was quite well known within the FPL community that Edinson Cavani was late back and Ollie had ruled him out of game week 1, but he was still owned by 5.8% of players in FPL who are now choosing to transfer him out. And when you compare that to the likes of Donny van de Beek and Minamino owned at 0.1%, that's actually quite a high ownership. So Edinson Cavani at 8.4 could be a strong differential. However, with new recruits coming into Manchester such as Jadon Sancho and Martial now back in contention, combined with the Uruguayan's advancing age, we know that maybe he may be limited to even less minutes this season. Despite this, we know that Cavani is a player that no matter how many minutes he's on the pitch, he can be lethal in front of goal if given the right opportunity. That's it for tonight, everyone, and please remember that price changes, as I mentioned, are not exact science and can alter extremely quickly. You can keep a close eye on projected player price changes over at fantasyfootballfix.com, or download the free app and turn on push notifications so you're aware of when a player in your team might be about to rise or drop. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and turn on that notification bell importantly if you want to be up to date for all the price changes every day as they happen. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for all the very latest in price change analysis.